All right, Stars fans, we are in Game 16 of the 2015-2016 season. This is the second matchup against the Toronto Maple Leafs. We met them up last week on pretty much the exact same day of last Monday. And the results pretty much the exact same. Quinn, you gave a bold prediction and said that Dallas was going to come on top, and you didn't even bother with the Toronto score, so we'll just say that. You said Dallas was going to come on top 3-1. That bold statement pretty much came back and kicked you right in the ass on that one. I also liked the Dallas 3-1 score, but I also liked if Toronto was going to come on top. I said that they were going to come on top 4-1, kind of like the exact same of their first game. Now, let's dive right in and first talk about the decision to start Antti Niemi. I had questions on the start of Antti Niemi. I don't think that it was a wise decision to start Antti Niemi, especially he's had 3 games rest, but this is the team that beat him, and I thought Kari was playing so well, and he proved that he could really hold his own, especially in the Carolina and Detroit games, whenever Kari looked like it was old-fashioned Kari instead of what we got last season. And what did you think of whenever you heard that Antti Niemi was actually going to be starting the game?
I was actually kind of startled. I know we want to keep rotation alive, but Niemi was beat 4-1 in his last go with Toronto. And Lettinen was playing good. He only allowed 1 goal in the last 2 games he played.
Yep.
And he was starting to get his stride back, and then we just yank it from him to throw in a goalie that lost to the team we were playing.
Yeah, and it's not that Kari was just he only let in 1 goal over the past 2 games. It's the way he was playing. And against the teams that we were playing against. In both of those games, Dallas really got hurdled into their own zone, especially against against Detroit. Detroit really came and took it away from Dallas. They took away a lot of their speed and kind of suffocated Dallas pretty much the same way that Toronto did in the first meeting that they had. So it was just a little weird seeing Kari being put on the bench, especially in the way that he won in the games that I thought he really needed to play really well. Now, going into the first period, if you like most sports, I think diehard sports fans and diehard hockey fans are superstitious. I think this is a game that every diehard fan was rubbing their lucky rabbit foot, tying their laces the lucky way that they do, wearing their lucky hat, wearing their lucky underwear, because we knew this is a game that Dallas really kind of needed to have. Toronto now has 3 wins on the season, but 2 of them are against Dallas. The other win that Toronto has is against Columbus. Every team that Toronto has faced besides Dallas has beaten them. And granted, they're not all blowouts. I mean, these are all professional hockey teams, so everyone is good in this league. But they're still finding ways to lose those games. I went and looked. Over the past 4 games, the Stars have lost 4 straight to Toronto. Dallas last year had the second best offense by only 2-3 goals behind Tampa, and now Dallas in this season has the second best offense. And I went and looked at Toronto's goal differential. over last season, they were a minus 51. And this season, they're at a minus 15. So all in all, over the past 2 seasons, they are a minus 66 goals against. That means they give up a ton of goals unless they're playing the Dallas Stars. I mean, Dallas only has 6 goals and against them in those four games. It's unreal how they are able to really choke down the offense of Dallas. And it's all on the back of their goalies. I went and looked. Dallas averages almost 40 shots, maybe 39, 40 shots in those 4 losses. It's all really on the back of their goalie. They find a hot goaltender every time they have played against Toronto, but their defense has also been really good. They've just been able to get under Dallas's skin as well. Last game they took a good amount of penalties. This game they only took 1, and quite frankly, it was a baby soft bubble wrap type goal or type of penalty. It was just a standard defensive play on the boards. You see it a million times over the course of the season, and the ref just happened to call that. As I think I was talking about it last episode, is that I asked you a question. When Dallas takes a penalty, do you now expect Dallas to get scored on said penalty? Do you think it's true now?
I mean, a lot of them. It's looking like Dallas just does not have luck on the penalty kill, because a lot of the goals that are getting scored are just flukes. Like, there just happens to be that one person in the right spot at the right time, and you get a deflection, or they get the good screen, and it seems like it's becoming tradition for it to happen.
Yeah, with the luck that I think that you're talking about, I think that really goes into, especially when Jason Demers tried to clear that puck out. He hit it, and then the puck just slapped the boards and then just dropped. It didn't go anywhere else on those boards. If you get a better angle, or if the puck isn't bouncing or anything like that, that puck goes out. But just the way he hit it and the way it hit the boards, it just died. All momentum just died right there off of the boards. So they are getting very unlucky. But I also, I'm thinking about their defensive positioning. Now on the power, what did you see about the defensive positioning on that power play goal?
It's always hard to defend on a penalty kill and keep track of where everybody's at. So just a little unlucky positioning for the defenseman. That same play that they had last time, the defenseman comes in behind them. They don't know they're there. They're covering their person that they think is the threat, and then they just sneak in there and they're there.
Right.
They get that good screen.
Now we had Yoki Paka out there for the power play goal against. Now what had happened, what I saw on the play, I went back and watched some of the replays earlier today, and you see Yoki Paka. There's 2 people. There's Holland, and I think it's Komarov. I'm not too sure. I know it's Holland because he's the one that scored the goal. Now you see Holland in front of Niemi, and then you see Yoki Paka off to the side of Holland. But then you also have Komarov on the back door as well of Niemi. So if Holland wasn't going to get it, and if there's a rebound off of Niemi, there's a good chance that second guy comes in and makes a good play for it. But what I didn't like was his positioning on Holland. He gave up too much to Holland. He just let him stand directly in front of Niemi instead of really trying to take his body away. He was trying to take his stick away, but that also didn't really work. But the reason why I wanted to focus on Yoki Paka is that he was out there for all 3 Toronto goals. Now, we know that the Yoki Paka and Jordy Ben duo is the weaker of our defensive duos. But what did you see out of them this game that really just wasn't clicking for them?
I think they just got panicked. You know, Toronto plays a very hard, get the puck in, chase it down, fight for the puck, and when you mix that up with not necessarily Jordy, but with Yoki Paka, who's still a fresh face, sometimes they get panicked and they make those bad decisions.
Yeah. You could definitely tell with the bad decisions. I understand what you're saying. That on the Parento goal. Well, there was a couple of mistakes that I saw on the second goal for Toronto. You see Radek Faska. He's over there on the boards. He's chasing down Riley. But what Faska does is that he tears off of him and tries to go more towards the front of the net. And Riley gets the attention of Yoki Paka. Now, Yoki Paka leaves the front of the net and then tries to make the play on Riley to try to cut off any kind of puck movement that he's going to do. But it doesn't work. Yoki Paka gets there too late. You know what? What I didn't like about that play is that Faska should have just kept going with Riley. Don't let Yoki Paka leave his position, because Yoki Paka was on Parento. Like, he would have had position on him, so Parento wouldn't have even really gotten that shot off. To when you think about it, he had position on him, but then leaves him, and then Parento is all there by himself. Roussel tries to take over from Yoki Paka, but you see, it just didn't work. There were too many moving things going on, focused on one player. I didn't like that positioning. Just, it wasn't smart hockey. Just, I know Fatska's only in his 12th, 13th game, but he needs to, and he's the center, so he needs to be like the third defenseman. When he's already on that player, he needs to just stay on that player, let the defense play defense, and go from there. But I will say that Niemi continues to be the unlucky goalie. None of these goals beat him cleanly. They were all bounces or deflections. The first power play goal, deflection. The second goal, the one that we were just talking about, it was a bounce off Jordy Ben's skate. The third goal, deflection off of Colton Seavier's stick, which, I mean, these goals he can't do anything about it, but when he's being the unlucky one, he's the one that's going to wind up getting the loss, especially whenever we had so many chances to really cash in on what Dallas was doing. Now I want to talk about the chances that Dallas was getting. When you were looking at Dallas and you see the Hemsky chance, or you see the Janmark chance in the first, those two right there in the first period, and then you see the Tyler Seguin chance that hits the crossbar, and then you see a couple of chances from Jamie Benn. What are you seeing from those chances?
They're good. I mean, they're getting the puck to the net. It just, Lady Luck's not being on their side. The Hemsky one, I think he might have waited just a little too much, or maybe he didn't wait enough. Because you look at Reimer, and Reimer, he's down, but he keeps that glove hand up no matter what. He's sliding out of position. He knows he's going to try and roof it to the glove side. So, I mean, that was a good play by Reimer, and he just barely gets the little thumb part on it, and it goes wide.
Now, would you think that, because there's always that phrase in hockey that a player is holding his stick too tight. Did you see any of that with those kind of chances, especially on the Tyler Seguin one? Do you think he was, gripping his stick too tight? Because it looked like he had such a wide open net. Why try to pick that corner? You know, it just seemed like if you get just a little better shot instead of trying to be a little fancy on your shot, I think Dallas comes on top of this one. I don't know. It just felt like they were being rushed a little. It seemed like they were a little nervous trying to, exact that revenge that, because they lost to this team exactly a week ago. So it just seemed like they're gripping their sticks a little tight. They're not taking advantage of the chances. Now, going into the third period is whenever it really started to go downhill. Like, you saw the defensive positioning just started getting out of whack, and it seemed like they were in so much of a rush mode to try to end the game that they weren't really focused on the task at hand, which was stay in the game, limit Toronto's chances, play sound. It seems like they just forgot fundamentals. Like, what did you start to see like late there in the game?
Just it looks like they were just panicked. Like, the Toronto stuck to their game. They're coming out, they're playing hard, they're checking, they're getting the dump and chase working for them, and it looks like Dallas just doesn't know how to handle that for some reason.
Dallas does not really seem to handle suffocation or hard-hitting games. Dallas likes to spread the opposition out. They like to spread them out so they can get their skating room. Not a lot of times has Dallas really responded well to the nitty-gritty, like, in-your-nose type of hockey, which I hope now that they can find a way to address that, because a lot of teams from now on, especially Central teams, our division, play strong, gritty hockey. You're going to go up against Winnipeg. You're going to go up against the Blues. Those are big teams that put up big hitting numbers, especially Winnipeg. You go up against Buffalo, he's not going to let you have any kind of chances to try to skate around him. He's going to go through you before you go through him. So it really seems like Dallas needs to start practicing on how to counteract the suffocation that is now starting to happen, that I think teams are now taking notes for. Because if Dallas is not going to get any more easy games from here on out, I think, because I think the league is now going to pay attention to what Toronto did against this Dallas team. Because don't get me wrong, Dallas has beaten great teams. I mean, we've beaten Pittsburgh, we've beaten Detroit, we've beaten Boston, we've beaten good teams. Like, Dallas knows how to play and knows how to spread out the offense, but I think from now on, teams are going to start noticing weaknesses against this team. But enough of the negatives. Let's focus on some of the positives. Patrick Sharp scores again. 3-game goal scoring streak. We talked about it in an earlier video last week. We asked if he could really keep up this momentum, and as of right now, he's going to keep this up. I don't see him slowing anywhere down. And quite frankly, he doesn't belong on any other line but with Jamie and Tyler. I think he fits best there. There's no reason as of right now to break up that line. Then Vernon Fiddler. How and when did... Well, you know what? A lot of people were actually kind of surprised that Fiddler got that on the backhand. When you think about it, Fiddler has scored some amazing backhand goals with his time with the Stars. I can think of some shootout winners, some breakaways. Didn't he have a penalty shot against Boston that had a nasty backhand? Like, Vernon Fiddler loves his backhand. What were the positives that you took away from this game?
They're keep shooting the puck. As you can tell, shoot the puck from anywhere and it'll go in.
Yeah, no, that's true. I mean, the Dallas Stars continue to get their average and actually boost their average in shots on the opposing team's goalie. Like, as of right now, Dallas has no problems with getting shots on net. It's just the quality of the shots is what I would like to see improve. Yes, Dallas has the second best offense, but they're also not taking the best shots around, especially in the Toronto game. I'd like to see that cleaned up just a little bit. Did you see any other positives coming out of it?
I mean, they played hard. Just they need to play a full 60 minutes. So I think that's really what they need to take away from this.
Yeah, they do need to work on that full 60. It's something that we talked about last season as well, is that the Stars, the very first game, the season opener against Pittsburgh, has been the best all-around game that they've played, which is a little worrisome, but, the Stars continue to win, but they don't get that full 60 in. We need some more games of them just hard-nosed battling. But next game, or actually, what was your rating for this game?
I'd say probably a C+.
Mm-hmm. And why the C+ rating?
The third period breakdown, just they need to start working on, like you said, focusing on getting out of suffocation games. They're a fast skating team. They're a very skilled team, but they are not a strong team. They have like Jamie Benn and Fiddler and Roussel, and that's about it. That will actually get into the scrums. Yeah,
that's one of the bright. I mean, I think one of the better, brighter spots of this game is the continuation of Demir's contributing to the offense. I think he's been a real bright spot for Dallas on defense for this season. So hopefully he will keep that up. I gave the rating for the game. I gave it a C. They lost. I didn't want to give them an all-out D or anything like that because they did have a lead. They did work hard to get back into the game. But those knucklehead plays in the third, especially from Yoki Paka, I just didn't like the way they finished the game. The Stars play against the Winnipeg Jets. What are your predictions for next game?
I'll start out with Dallas. If Dallas come out and get the win, I feel it'll be a pretty close one. I'm gonna say 4-3. And if Winnipeg wins, I feel it's gonna be 3-1, just because Winnipeg's gonna suffocate them and hit them and just grind them down.
Yeah, I totally agree. I agree with your assessment on Winnipeg about if they are to come on top, it's going to be a suffocation game. I'm going to say it's going to be a score of 2-0 that if Winnipeg comes on top. But I think if Dallas is to come on top, I'm going to say a score of 2-1. It's going to be a low-scoring game, I feel. Winnipeg is coming off 3 straight losses coming into Dallas, so they're going to want to come out and prove something, and it's going to be a tough game. So I say 2-1 if Dallas is to come on top, and that will be the discussion. Remember that this is a video discussion series for fans, by fans. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Tell us what you liked. Tell us what you didn't like. Every bit of feedback helps us out. We want this thing to be great for y'all to listen to. And, as always, tune in next time.